Hello everyone, it's Steve Mills back with another version of the Results Mastery podcast. I'm doing this podcast in a slightly unusual but a really nice place. I'm down the bottom of my garden. I just thought I'd go for a little bit of a walk round, stretch the legs and, spend a bit of time wandering around my garden. And at the same time, I'd deliver a podcast. And, in a way, there's a lesson in that, I think, in so many ways that, we don't have to be tied to a computer. We don't have to be sat down behind a desk. And I know, I'm probably one of those people who does that far too much. But there's a lesson for me and perhaps a lesson for you as well at the same time. Now, in this podcast, I wanted to talk to you about, I suppose you could call it the power of email marketing. Email marketing gets a lot of bad press. I hear people all the time saying, I don't want to bombard people. It works for me. It works for the clients of mine that do it. And I will tell you that not all of them do. Some of them, despite my best attempts, still don't do it. They still don't take the time to do email marketing. Why? Because they've often not got a list. I met a potential client the other day, and I was talking to him and asking him some questions. How long had he been in business, and what marketing he did, and so on and so forth. And he said he'd been in business for over 10 years. I said, oh wow, so how are you marketing yourself? And he started telling me at all, perhaps you could utilize email marketing if you've got a spreadsheet with all your customers on and all their contact details. You might want to use my new Results Mastery Hub to use a CRM and a survey feature and all sorts of things, but primarily an email marketing tool as well. And he went, I do have a database, but it's only got about 150 names on it. And I said to him, what have you been doing for 10 years? You've been going 10 years and you've only, spoken to or, acquired the contact details of 150 people in 10 years. Now, you may think, that could be the size of his market. It could be that he's a very specialized business and there are only 150 customers throughout the world that could potentially be his client. But that ain't the case. In truth, there are hundreds of thousands of people in the UK alone, apart from the rest of the world, that could have been his client. But he had no way, really, of communicating with them other than through things like paid advertising, through generic social media, or perhaps paid advertising on social media on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube. But, the key word there is pay, and whilst I think one of the big mistakes I see, particularly in the small business market, is people having a reluctance to pay anything and thinking that they can do everything via posting on LinkedIn or attending networking events, and that simply isn't true. However, one of the keys that he was missing out on was the ability to deliver on a consistent basis emails. And that's really my message today. If you're not doing email marketing, then I'd ask you, how are you keeping in touch with your customers on a regular basis? How many have you got? How many customers have you got? And what are you doing to keep in touch? Now, if you've only got half a dozen customers, and perhaps they're big clients or whatever, then, you can probably do that on the phone. You can phone them up once a week and that's all good. However, if you have got hundreds or even thousands of customers, and hopefully you've got hundreds and thousands of prospects, then, you literally cannot do that. It is impossible. And whilst you can do, emails through LinkedIn and so on and so forth, it really does pay to use something like my hub or another CRM system, it doesn't really matter, and have the ability to send out these multiple emails. Now, a couple of tips on this. Firstly, number one is think about who you're sending what to. Never been a believer in sending everybody to everything, so you don't want to be sending out emails that are not relevant to the people that you need that message going out to. So, the important thing here is to make sure that your email list is segmented. So I can send an email out to, my clients, my prospects, my suppliers, my internal team. I can send an email out to clients who are on the Isle of Wight or those in Dubai, or the list of my list of accountants, or coaches or consultants, or whatever I want to do. I'm able to do that through email and through segmenting my list correctly. The other thing I should be doing on the list front is constantly growing it. It's so important to grow that list and to make sure that people are opted into it, not just physically, that they've clicked an opt-in button, but are opted into reading your stuff. So, there's no point sending emails out to people who don't read your emails. And one of the best things that they can do, and in fact you can do, is if they don't read your emails, then just get rid of them. Get them off the list. Why would you want to send emails out to people who are not interested? I can't see a reason for that. And, I hope you can't see a reason for it as well, because there is no reason for it. So, apart from anything else, it damages the integrity of sending out emails. So if you send out lots of emails that aren't read by anyone, then that results on low delivery of future emails. So we want people who are into you, into your knowledge, into finding out and learning from you and benefiting in that way. Another thought for you is that, if you send out emails basically saying, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? Do you want to buy something else? With all the goodwill in the world, sooner or later, people are going to get fed up. Oh, it's that Steve Mills again. He's trying to sell me something. What's he trying to sell me this time? Well, I do use email to sell people, but I try to use it on a sort of 80-20 rule, where 80% of my emails and the information contained in those emails is providing value, real value to my clients. So I'm providing tips, hints, updates, reports, videos, where I might produce a video called, the 10 keys to getting more traffic to your website, and I'll send that out. It's an information-based email. There might be a hook on the end of it where I say, look, if you want to know more about that, or you need somebody to help you to do it, then by all means get in touch and we can set up a meeting. But the 90% of the email is purely helping people, and that's what I believe you should be doing. So 80% of the time you're going to be helping people, 20% selling, and even within the content of your email, it should be 80% helping people and then having some form of call to action, a CTA on the end of it, or perhaps at the beginning of it, telling people what you need them to do. So that's the delivery of the email. Now, I'd also like to just talk to you briefly about the context of it, and also how you structure it in terms of the way it looks. There's a lot of people send out emails which are what I call fancy Dan emails. They're all singing, all dancing, got great HTML. They look like basically a marketing email. The ones you've received them yourself, where they look like a newsletter. They've got your brand and your logo, and they're all full of HTML, which is the ability to make an email look like a web page. Now, there's some value in that, don't get me wrong, because it makes you look professional and so on and so forth. But personally, I prefer the use of an email to be done in a very plain way, so that it looks like I've just sent you an email. Not that I've sent it out to like 5,000 or 10,000 people, but it's gone from me. It's got your name on the top, so it says, "Hi, Fred," or "Dear Wilma," or whatever it is. And it arrives in your inbox, and it looks like I've sent you a message. Now, you may know that it's probably gone out to loads of people, and that's fine. I'm not trying to hide that. But what I am trying to do is two things. One, that is more likely to get you past spam filters, and so that will increase your deliverability rates. And two, it is more likely to get read. Because what do we do when we see that newsletter type of email? We go to delete. We press that delete button, put it in the round file, we get rid of it. Whereas if it's just a simple email, and sometimes I've used and tested emails as simple as, saying something like, "Hi Ian, Steve Mills here, just wondering if you still want to grow your business. If you do, click this link and book a meeting with me." And that's it. It doesn't have to be War and Peace. I don't have to tell them, here are the 48 benefits of hiring my service. I just want him to book a meeting. That's my goal for the email. And so I say, if you want this, then do that. So if I was a weight loss coach, I might do, "Are you still looking to lose weight? Or are you looking to lose weight? If you are, I'm a weight loss coach. Why don't you book a meeting with me?" Okay? Really simple, isn't it? Huh? If you like this, then do that. All right? So there's 4,000 people have been interested enough in your title to open it up. So remember that the title's a really important part of email marketing. Next, out of those 4,000, perhaps you had some call to action in it saying, "If you want to find out more, go here." Excuse me. And the go here link should be to your website, or perhaps to a YouTube video, or it could be to your LinkedIn profile or somewhere else. But it is a CTA, a call to action. So when somebody's clicked that call to action, you'll be able to tell somewhere in your CRM system, and certainly in my hub, there's a button that you press and it will tell you how many people have opened it, how many people have unsubscribed, how many people the email has bounced on, in other words, it's not been delivered, how many people have clicked on one of these links. So let's say, for example, I had a link saying, "If you're interested in finding out more about my Results Mastery program, or perhaps about my Results Mastery Hub, or even my Results Mastery University, then click one of these 3 links." So I have a link to one page with my university on, link to Results Mastery, and a link to the Hub. 3 separate links. Now, what's the point of that? The point of that is that I can then get to know who's clicked on what link, and I can then follow up with that person either in person, on the phone, or via another email, and I could even automate that email so that when somebody clicks on the Results Mastery Hub, they get a follow-up email saying, "Thanks for your interest in clicking on our link to the Results Mastery Hub. What did you think? And would you like to meet?" And then the same for the Results Mastery University. "Thanks for your interest in the Results Mastery University. What made you be interested in that? What did you think to the training videos? And would you like to know more? You see how powerful that is? The first email's great, and that'll gain you knowledge of what people are actually interested in, and give you the ability to follow up by phone, by text, by messenger, by another email, and so on and so forth. And using our hub and other systems, it enables you to do that on autopilot without you ever doing anything. I know if you're going to phone them, you've got to physically phone them, but it'll tell you when to and give you all the information that you need. So that's it. Hope that's been of value to you. Thank you ever so much for listening. I know it's been a little bit of a longer one today, but I wanted to get everything in. And I would just say, subscribe to my podcast. I'd love it if you'd share the podcast on your social media. Let's get this sort of message out, helping as many small businesses as we can. That's been my goal for the last 29 years. So, if you do that, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to follow my YouTube channel, that would be another thing to do. Subscribe to that. And if you're not already on my email list, then get yourself on there, because you're going to get 80% of it. There's going to be tips and ideas to help you to make more money more easily, more often. Probably the best way of doing that is to go to either results-mastery.com or to my other website, which is steve-mills.com. Thanks ever so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you next time on my Results podcast. Thank you.